Okay. Well, I hope that you got a bit of a taste of what happens when we really let go of all efforts to change experience, all efforts to control. And not only what happens, what reveals itself, what's actually natural, because natural, the word natural would have to imply what's not manipulated, something that's not being manufactured inside, created inside. Because we can manufacture both very negative experiences and we can manufacture and create extraordinarily positive, even blissful experiences. And yet neither one will show us what's totally natural to us, what our natural state of being actually is. Often we think that peace, quiet, stillness is something that somehow we have to figure out how to achieve, how to attain, how to get the body and the mind quiet and all the rest. And this thought, this idea, actually blurs our vision from what is natural. And so, of course, what is natural to you and to I, our natural states, the natural state of being, the natural state of awareness, could only be discovered, could only start to be experienced through the total relinquishing of all attempts to control, to change, to manufacture. And as soon as all that effort to change, control, and manufacture is let go of, even for a moment, you realize that there is a totally natural way of being, a totally natural state of being, which isn't really a state because it's not something that's being manufactured. It's not something that's being created in the mind. It's just what is. And from that space of what is, it can start to become much easier to see that everything else is actually something that's created. Everything else, even our entire sense of self, is something that is being manufactured and created in the mind. Because as soon as we let go of control, the mind stops creating this sense of self, this very familiar identity of a separate somebody, and it just sort of dissolves. You notice that your whole sense of who you are as an identity dissolves when you're not referring to thought anymore. Because it's all in thought. And this observation has been made for thousands of years. And yet, the way that many people go about this, they see this observation, my whole sense of separate self is actually being manufactured in thought, which is duplicated in the body and turned into emotion and feeling. And therefore they go about, well, I must stop this thought. Because it's being manufactured in thought, I must stop this thought, which of course is what? It's just another thought, isn't it? It's thought saying, I must stop myself. It's a very clever ploy, right? Now, most of you have probably been around the spiritual circle to know, if you really want to think a lot, think about how not to think. Right? It really gets the thought process, going. Right? But when we see, even the efforts not to think just create thinking, all the efforts not to think are creations of thought itself, then the whole process can just be seen. No effort to change it, to manipulate it, to make it be more or less or this or that. And you discover that actually this whole manufacturing of a false self needs one of two things. It needs resistance. That's where it gets its energy, right? It literally gets its energy from resistance or indulgence. That's where the energy comes from. That's where the energy that creates all illusions is derived from resistance or indulgence. No, 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 no. Or more. Indulgence is actually, although it doesn't look like it, indulgence is actually the reverse of resistance, because it is a form of resistance. If we're indulging in something, it means we don't want something else, right? I'm indulging in this because I don't want that. I want more of this because... So even indulgence is actually, it's resistance turned upside down. But it's actually the same thing. Because anytime we're moving away from something, we're moving towards something else, are we not? I don't want this, resistance, but I really want that, indulgence, simultaneously at the same time. So one can see this, that this movement actually creates the energy that creates the false sense of self, the separate sense of self. Because without the energy, it keeps collapsing, right? The thought may arise, and if there's no effort to control the thought, it has a very limited lifespan, does it not? It's like something that tries to arise and then, it collapses. It may try to arise again, and then, It's like a wounded soldier on the battlefield. You know, he tries to stand up, and there's no the energy to do it. Tries to stand up, He may just try to stand up for quite a while, but the energy just isn't there. But if you resist the thought, that movement of the arising of the false self, if you resist it, then it has energy, right? And it's like very happy. Thank you for the resistance. Now it has everything it needs to continue. And one image turns into a next image, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. And so it goes. And so this whole notion that change, transformation, and awakening itself happens through resistance or manipulation, because that's what's thought, right? Change and transformation will happen through... People don't say resistance and manipulation, do they? Because that doesn't sound nice, does it? It sounds kind of nasty, right? We're going to change ourselves through resisting and manipulating, right? But when you actually get down to what people are doing, when they're trying to change and transform and awaken, what they're actually doing is various forms of manipulating and controlling. That's what they're actually doing, right? Why are you doing what you're doing? Well, I'm doing it to get to the totally free, enlightened state. And would that be a totally natural state of being? Yes. And why are you doing it in such a god-awful, unnatural way? I never thought of that before. So, when this is seen, you realize that illusion, even the illusions in your own mind, you have no ability to stop their arising, do you? Since you don't wake up and go, I think I'll create a really good illusion and make myself miserable. It just, right? It arises. It's just there, right? And all your efforts and all your wishes and dreams and praise to God and Allah and whoever else, Buddha, that it not arise ever again. Please take me, sweep me away like the arms of a lover. Just embrace me and crush me in your infinite love and compassion. And then after you've had this wonderful upswelling moment of asking the divine to take care of it all for you, there you are with your little mind, talking about something, like, oh, that TV commercial on TV yesterday was very interesting. Just completely ridiculous nonsense, right? Or, oh, I love God, but I hate my neighbor. Oh, I'm not supposed to do that. Please help me, And so you see, we're taught that awakening certainly, and any kind of change and transformation, we're taught that it happens in a particular way. That we're taught that it happens because of what you do. When actually, experience starts to prove just the opposite. It happens because of what you don't do. That's a strange concept. But it goes back to the same thing. All illusion needs resistance. It has no energy of its own. In spiritual circles, they say, and it's empty. It is empty means it has no agency of its own, no energy, no life force, no nothing. All illusion is illusion, so it has no energy, it has no life force. It borrows the life force, and it gets the life force from resistance. It's like having an engine. You have an engine in your car, but your engine in your car it can't do anything until there's resistance. Right? Even a mechanical thing needs resistance, right? It needs you to turn the key and that little spark to happen and the cylinders to start to, this little gas explosion inside of each cylinders, right? Which is a resistance, pushing the cylinders back, boom, 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 and all of a sudden your car starts. But your car is not just running on fuel, it's literally running on resistance, right? It's energy that's created through resistance. In the way that we work, psychologically, is exactly the same. An illusion is just like an engine in your car. It's inert. It has no life force of its own. It must borrow it from somewhere else. You must put fuel into it, otherwise that engine is just going to sit there and do nothing. Illusion is the same way inside of our own being. It has no energy of its own. It depends on resistance and indulgence. That's why when something arises in you and you're horrified in it, I can't believe it, I had that thought. It's such a terrible, unimaginably awful thought, and then you try to get rid of the thought, it just sustains the thought, right? And another one comes. Oh my God, that's awful. That's even more awful. How could that happen? Which gives rise to the energy that creates another one, right? Oh, that's even more terrible. And deep in human consciousness, there is the idea, I can't stop resisting. Because if I stop resisting, nothing will change. That's deep within human consciousness. But that's an illusion that's deep within human consciousness. Actually, when we don't resist, oh, there's a terrible thought, and it's not resisted at all, it has no life force, right? It'll collapse. I hate so-and-so. But if you judge it, which is a form of resistance, if you indulge it, which is a form of resistance, it sustains, doesn't it? It can sustain for a whole lifetime. And so it goes. So initially, for a moment, totally letting go of resistance,